dripping, no dripping. No wanna be next to the realer man. I just like Peter Pan. I do like Peter Pan. Get your so tight on me.
Just because I've been trying to focus more on trying to get my sound a little bit better. I'm trying to like, whole kind of vibe of this project is I kind of want it to be like 90s themed, but a little bit like new age. So you know, like pulling a lot of Lauryn Hill, Erica, people like that. Those are two like my favorite people.
Right.
So trying to pull from that. It's really sunny. But no, it's all good. But you know, trying to pull from that, and then also trying to mix in like hip hop in terms of the production. So like the beats, you know, like the heavy bass, all of that, and then kind of giving it like a more new age feel, because I feel like people really like the 90s. I feel like a lot of people definitely gravitate towards the 90s, partially because most of us were probably born in that area or like grew up in that area, you know. But yeah, like I grew up listening to a lot of that, like Brandy. I listened to like old heads like Luther Vandross, you know, Stevie. Like you gotta listen to Stevie. If you're an artist, if you're a musician and you don't listen to Stevie, there's a problem. Especially a black musician, doesn't make sense. But yeah, and I wanted to really focus on where I came from and like what my mom and what my parents really put me on. I really wanted to put that into this project, because over the summer I was making stuff and it was really vibey, really laid back type of things, but I was like,
summer music.
Yeah, you know, it's summer music. Summer music is a completely different type of music.
Absolutely.
So you know, I'm just trying to like pull from like where I came from, and then also trying to have like a new age type of feel to it, because you know, so it's not the same old type of spiel, same old thing.
Absolutely. How's your recording process? Do you write everything out first, then go record, or do you record and do you write and record simultaneously?
It's kind of, it depends. It's a mix of the two. What I've been doing as of lately is I try to just write some lyrics. Like if I come up with a line on the top of my head or a melody, I'm like, okay, well let me try to write something out of it. You know, let me get at least like 2 or 3 lines. There's times where like I'll like have studio sessions and I just go to the studio and we'll just kind of build beats together, because I don't really like when people send me beats. I don't really feel like that's as organic and as natural. You know, trying to like vibe with the computer in a sense. So sometimes like I'll go in the studio and I might have a concept already, or be like, you know, I kind of want to write about this, or I have like this line, or I have this melody, like what can we do with this, and then kind of building with the producers. My producer I work with right now, he goes by Alec B. He goes to UCLA. He's a sophomore. He's been working on music like forever and a day. He's one of the dopest people I know. And he's like we have very similar tastes because we've grown up like listening to a lot of the same music. So it's a little bit easier to vibe with him and work with him. You know, I'll be like, hey, you know, let's like kind of get a bass like the internet. Like let's do something like that, or like let's try to have like trippy shit like Erica. You know, or like I can just say let's have this, and he'll be like, oh, like so and so. I'm like, exactly.
Right.
And you know, it's really nice to have those people.
Absolutely.
Flipping it. Flying in, shorty window, I take her to Neverland. Tinkerbell dripping, no dripping. No wanna be next to the realer man. I just like Peter Pan.
Kind of make like a concert and then have it double as a house party. And after the first one, like hella people came and we were like, oh, okay, like this might actually be something. So I decided to have a second one. That was really cool, and I started slowly building a team. And it was funny because the people that built it with me, and like when I say built with me, like, you know, they helped me with my errands, you know, they ran stuff. I was like, hey, I need people to check in the artists. Like all of those people were my friends. So after the second one, a lot of people came to that as well, and we were like, okay, maybe this could be something. Like maybe we can really do something with this. So the third one that we had was January 15th, which was the day before my birthday. It was like a birthday celebration, like back to school, what's good, it's winter, da da da, you know, MLK, you know, the homie for life. And yeah, so we put that together. We try to make it focus on more LA artists. So the whole like purpose of it is I wanted to give black artists the space and the resources, you know, to showcase their work, and also give other black people and black artists, you know, the opportunity to see their, like, you know, their fellow people perform. Just because I felt like there weren't that many spaces like that. I go to USC and you see the same people perform at the same things. Like I'm a popular music major, so like I have to do performance, like that's essentially what I do. And I would go to different house parties, you know, go to different events, and it's the same type of music. You know, I mean, no disrespect, like half of them are super dope and they're like friends of mine, but you know, it was the same thing over and over and over again. And I found myself as I was writing, well, first of all, I wasn't really writing that much my first year because I just was like, well, if I write and I do this, like where's my audience gonna be? You know, and I'm from here as well, so I knew that I would have like, you know, that LA background, but at the same time I was like, you know, like I'm trying to expand horizons, you know, I'm trying to reach different people. So I was like, okay, like maybe I can make this thing a thing. Like we make this a move. So we got it all together. The third one really featured a lot of LA artists. We had like Ubiquitous Love Tribe, Reese Langston, and then we had visuals. I kind of came up with the visual idea after the first one, because I said, you know, I feel like it's kind of rude, the fact that we're making it all performance and there's all different types of art. So we started having visuals from local artists, and all of the people, like all the performers, all the artists are all Black identified people. I mean, like they might not all be like Black, but you know, they might be Afro-Latino. And everybody on my team either goes to USC or goes to UCLA, and they're all creatives. We have like singers, rappers, producers, dancers, creative directors, photographers, just for the whole nine. And I really wanted to build a sense of community, because when I went to New York over the summer, like right before my sophomore year. And I like really recognized, I was like, wow, like the art community here is so tight. Like there's all these different like niches and all these different little places, but everybody kind of has like a sense of togetherness. You would see the same people, like I was there for a month, and you would see the same people at like similar events. And I was like, you know, LA kind of has that, but I don't feel like we do. So I was like, well, let me kind of try to like help that out and give people, you know, another opportunity to showcase their work and to, you know, network with each other. Because in my mind, like my whole goal in the world is I want Black people to build like as a community. You know, I want us to like thrive together as a community, because, you know, like all this other stuff that's happening in the world, like they don't want us to do that. You know, they don't want us to unite. They want us to keep like fighting each other and, you know, causing all these problems with each other. And I was like, well, why don't we just come together for some music? And, you know, art is something that people can come together to. So that was kind of where that came from. And then it kind of just became a big thing. You know, we have like our website together. We have all of that situated. We have like super dope people that are looking into performing and funding it for the next one. So we're super excited for that. But I'm really glad that it's really created a space for people, because like, man, there was nothing like this last year, so I'm really happy that I was able to create something like this. Because, you know, there's things like, I don't know if you've heard of Bananas, but like Bananas happens in Leimert Park, and that's like local like LA artists as well, you know, performing. But there's kind of like that, and like the Poetry Lounge, there's really not that much else. Especially for millennials, it's the other thing. There's a lot of stuff, you know, 21 and over, and there's a lot of stuff for like younger crowds, but there's nothing in the middle, you know, like that 17 to like 22 type thing. So I was like, well, let me create something that like helps us all come together and helps this like whole group come in. Also, like, who doesn't like to get lit to your homie's music? You know, that was the whole concept. It was just like, let's all come together and appreciate each other's music and appreciate each other's work.
I do like Peter Pan. I do like Peter Pan. Get your fuck on me, Peter Pan. I got it, Peter Pan. I like Peter Pan. Take her about trippin', I'm gonna be next to the reader, man.
Peter Pan, he the man, you second like Peter Braid. What? Peter pop off, I take your top off, you try and play me. Peter Griffin, yeah, I need chicken and plus the gravy. Cause they keep it at 100, I'm trying to get rich.
And create with each other.
Now
you know?
we just need a community to bring them all together. And I feel like what you're doing is like absolutely amazing. It's like a first step to you know to building that sense of community. You know what I mean? And the artists are like the people who have the most influence in the world.
Exactly.
You know why?
Well, I'm from LA, so you know I can always come back here. But like New York, I feel like I was born there in another lifetime. I feel like it's everything that LA kind of wants to be and what LA is slowly becoming. But New York's really cool. The culture is really tight. You know, they have like Puerto Rican food. They got like all the food, all the culture, like all the culture, like just all the culture. The end. Period. Point blank. New York, because culture.
It is. Now, if you were to pick a book, one album, one movie to describe your life, don't think too hard about it.
Okay. Book. Whoa. Okay. What is a book? Conversations with God for the book. Album. Oh, Lord. Miseducation. Hey. Lauryn Hill. Just because I feel like honestly that's where I'm pulling a lot of influence from for this project. Like that's like my queen. I'm always like, Mom. I've heard her's mom.
Does it have anything to do with it?
You know, no, it really doesn't. Like that's actually so funny. I've changed my hair 1 billion and one times. But nah, Lauryn Hill, man. Movies like that. Black is Black Ain't. That's a documentary. because that talks more about like the whole concept of blackness versus like what it actually is. So, you know, like you grow up and like people are like constantly telling somebody like, oh, you're not black enough, or like, oh, you fit into like, you know, such and such stereotype. But really, like, blackness, it can't really be defined, because at the end of the day, we're all our own different entities, and like our blackness comes from so many different you know, different things, like different backgrounds, you know, different cultures. I mean, like Africa as a continent, like that within itself, like you can go to one country and go to another country, it's a completely different experience. Like, yeah, it's still Africa, but it's a different country, a different culture. And Black is Black and kind of talks about that a little bit more. I feel like that definitely works, because I definitely was questioning my being like, why is your hair like that, da 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 da, this, that, and the other, like, and then having like all the black people, the few black people try to be like, oh, you're not black enough, like, oh, you hang out with all the white people, da da da, and it's like, I don't really want to, like, I just am not around them. But then once I got to high school, everything got okay. So, but yeah.
Off of a cliff, Geronimo, bitch. Peter Pan fly, beefing man high. Take about girl, oh yeah, I'm lit. Look like a bogey, whip it like Kobe. I live near Kobe, shout to the Nick. She thicker than Chloe, ride it like pony. If you ain't know, no wave in this bitch. Let go now. You don't know.
Swear to the leader band, lost boys, I'm the leader man. Lush jungles, I ain't never land. Might remind you to never